Welcome back. Pakistani terror suspect Abid Nasir says he's a lover, not a fighter. Nasir is charged with plotting to blow up a shopping mall in England. He's also charged with targeting New York's subways as part of a wide-ranging al-Qaida plot. Acting as his own lawyer, Nasir tried to shoot down the main evidence against him, which appear in messages online. Joining us now for an in-depth analysis of this curious case, Daniel Hochheiser. He's a criminal defense attorney and former New York City prosecutor who joins us from Newsmax, New York. And rejoining us, of course, my good friend, former Congressman Michael Patrick Flanagan, who is the president of Flanagan Consulting and, for purposes of full disclosure, is also a trained attorney. So, we don't hold that against either of you guys. We'll just say that at the outset, fellas. Online messages. Tell me about this, Dan. What's the deal with Nasir and his online messages?
Well, this is very much like a lot of drug cases where drug dealers often conspire together and use coded conversations. They use words like flowers or pants to describe what are really drugs. So here we have some coded language according to the government, marriage and party, which according to the government are code words for these attacks on the Manchester shopping mall, the New York City subway, and the Danish newspaper.
The involvement of the Haqqani network and the D Company, which is the bottom line funder of a lot of these terrorist activities, they're like the giant savings and loans for terrorist activities around North Africa, the Middle East, and beyond. How deeply are we into understanding them fully and the extent of their networks and their ability to work?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, that's to you, Dan. Sorry
yes, sir. I'm sorry. Yes, thank you.
I apologize. Can you give me that question again? I do apologize.
No, it's my fault. The Haqqani network and the D Company that works with them, and that's the international terrorist bankers for a lot of the work that's done in the North African Rim and the Middle East and beyond. How much do we really know about them other than their existence? Do we really have a deep understanding of them at a governmental or even an NGO level of the extent of their work and how they even contribute to the growth of ISIS and its meteoric rise through that region and elsewhere, which is all fueled by money?
Well, we do know that the fundamentalist Islamic terrorist networks have metastasized over the past several years throughout the Middle East into Africa and even Asia, and money does drive a lot of these networks. These specific networks you're talking about, I don't have an intimate knowledge of, but there are big problems there.
We may be getting better knowledge of just not only the funding, but the relationship of this accused terrorist, Abid Nasir, with Osama bin Laden. As I understand it, Dan, this trial is featuring evidence from the raid on bin Laden's hideout in Pakistan. What did we find there that helped in this case?
Well, apparently there is a document which is a statement which the government is seeking to use against Abid Nasir, linking him to this conspiracy. The question there is going to be, what exception to the hearsay rule is the government going to try to use to get this document admitted? Is it a statement in furtherance of the conspiracy? Will it be a document which can identify or shed light on motive to be admitted into evidence? So that's a question mark.
And
Dan, the legal heaviness of working this guy through the system, should we work hard to bring him here, or should we let him be tried where he is?
You're talking about Abid Nasir? I believe he's
right
in Brooklyn, correct?
He's over in Brooklyn.
Okay. Well,
oh,
yeah.
My mistake. I'm sorry. I
yes,
thought
he's
he
in
was
Brooklyn.
still in the region.
No, no, I believe he's being tried in the Eastern District in New York. He's being tried in a federal court in Brooklyn, and actually the nominee for Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, was sitting right in the front row in the audience watching the proceedings yesterday, as I understand it. And actually, go ahead.
It just brings to mind with Loretta Lynch there as the United States Attorney for that District of New York and as the Attorney General designate. I'm just curious why Mr. Nasir decided to represent himself. Did he give a reason for that, Dan?
Not that I know of. I mean, there's the old saying, JD, which I'm sure you've heard, that a lawyer who represents himself as an idiot for a client, it's generally a really, really, really bad idea to represent yourself, whether you're a lawyer or not a lawyer. This guy's not a lawyer. Especially in a federal case in New York, the procedure is arcane and intricate, and you're dealing with professional federal prosecutors who know the procedure and you don't. However, it seems to me from the reports I've read that he actually did a pretty good job yesterday cross-examining this cooperating witness Zazi. He got Zazi to admit that in all the training Zazi had overseas, that he never heard Abil Nasir's name, he never saw his picture, and that Abil Nasir never really came up. So he did a pretty good job, from what I read, in doing the cross-examination himself.
In the federal prosecutors in New York, now that I understand they're there, have a great deal of experience in terrorist trials, and probably the most experienced prosecutors in the country, perhaps. Do you think that they are equal to this task fully to take us to a conviction?
Well, I think so. I mean, in 98 or 99% of federal cases in New York end in convictions. Their conviction rate is through the roof. They've proven time and time again that they're up to the task in trying these terrorist cases in civilian courts. So as far as I'm concerned, the debate about whether we can try terrorists in our criminal justice system, I think that argument is sort of over.
Daniel Hochheiser, we thank you for your analysis of this trial from Newsmax New York. We trust you'll continue to monitor it and update us on it as the days continue, as the trial continues, and we'll see if the whole notion of no flowers and party, it's just romance, so says Mr. Nasir. We'll see if those online messages in fact become the evidence that puts Mr. Nasir away for a long, long time. Daniel, we thank you for your time from Newsmax New York. Mike Flanagan in Newsmax Washington. Sir, stay with us, because when we come back, we'll likewise be joined by Michael Rubin to talk about the ceasefire that isn't in the Ukraine. Now, a news